Hello, welcome back to another video. Today is October 6th or 5th, 2020, and today we're going to be going over my prediction for the Presidential Electoral College this year in the United States and the Senate elections, and the governor elections as they stand almost 1 month before the election, a little bit less. So, as some of you may know, Trump has completely ignored all of the COVID isolating rules. Once you get COVID, you're supposed to isolate for 2 weeks, or once you've been exposed to it, either way, you're supposed to isolate for 2 weeks. He's back in the White House after 3 days, waving to people. He took his mask off in public. That was just ridiculous. Like, whether or not you think the virus is dangerous or not, you're still spreading it to people that can be hurt more by it. It's not if it's dangerous to you. It's if you don't have a mask, you're spreading it to other people. Masks don't stop you from getting it. They stop it from spreading. So do not do what Donald Trump does and take off your mask in front of hundreds of people, reporters, uh, not social, like his security, his friends. Like, just don't do that. Don't do it to salute. You don't even need to take off your mask to salute. I feel like he was doing it as a symbol, like, oh my god, well, I'm free, I don't need my mask. You're contracting a disease to hundreds of people. It's ridiculous. All right, let's get into the prediction. I know I've been harsh towards Trump in these predictions, but it's the truth is he's just not doing that well, and I think he can still turn it around. If he can turn around Florida and Arizona, or in this prediction, even Georgia, I've changed to blue. I know you might as well be leaving right now if you don't believe Georgia has a chance of going blue. But polling data, current, like George Floyd and the protests, but yeah, so the whole Black Lives Matter movement, COVID, their approval of Trump, their demographic changes, and polling shows otherwise. It shows that it will go blue this election or the next one, and right now I do think it'll go blue. So, just so you know. Alright, this color I have here is safe blue. This is likely blue. Oh, sorry. Safe blue is 15% or more for that party. Likely blue is 7% or more for that party. Lean blue, or no, sorry. No. Lean blue is 2% or more, and tilt blue is under 2%. This is solid red, 15% or more. Likely red, 7% or more. Lean red, 2% or more. And tilt red, under 2%. So let's start with the states I think will go to Biden by over 15% / safe, which are Washington, Oregon, California, New York, Vermont, Maine's 1st District, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, DC, Illinois, and Hawaii. Now, these are Biden's safe 183 electoral votes. Other stuff is mildly competitive for the Blue Party if they have any states winning, like, say, Virginia, Colorado, and New Mexico are all states Hillary won by 5% or more. In New Mexico's case, 8 points, which was a likely margin. So it was kind of like lean, likely, and then lean. But we'll get into Nevada later. But right now, I do think that New Mexico, I have the brink of going to safe. I have it like 12 points for Biden. It pulled for him 14 points again today. Last time was 15 and 14. And there was a poll where Trump was winning, but that's from a D minus polling place, SurveyMonkey. They released like 500 polls that looked like they had no quality to them. It was more quantity. There was a lot of them, but they polled way more of each party. It was not balanced at all. Virginia, Colorado, and New Mexico were all polling up to 15 points in every poll for. Oh, not every poll, but over 10 points in every poll for Biden. And honestly, I could say they all are all safe, but they're not. They're going to be mildly competitive. However, this is one of their last shifts towards their final decision of a party. Once in 2024, they're all going to be over 15%. Like right now, Virginia's Senate race is really safe for them. However, the presidential race is closer. Colorado, John Hickenlooper. I don't know who the Democrat running here is. My bad, but I do know about the race, so don't distrust my Senate predictions. I am almost an expert, I'd like to say. But yeah, the Senate race in Colorado is lean for the blue, and then blue party, and then likely for the blue party in the presidential race. So it really reflects. It more so reflects upon the Senate race, uh, common representation within your state that you see can influence your decision on who you vote for in the presidential race. And that is very important in what used to be swing states like Colorado, New Mexico, and Virginia, and New Hampshire. Oh, actually, not New Hampshire, which are shifting to the blue side of the politics. Let's do states that I think will go to Donald Trump by 15% or more: Idaho, Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Nebraska's first district, Nebraska's third district, despite polling, for all of Nebraska, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, and Alabama. Those are all right. Hold on, I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, as you can see, have moved Utah down from going over to Trump by 15% or more. It's more so SurveyMonkey, even though polls aren't that great, released like over 10 different polls on like each state, and they all had Utah going to Trump by under 10 points. No matter what, there's no way they've gotten it incorrect consistently within like 1 to 5 percentage points over and over and over. And there was a few other polls released today in Utah, which also had it under 15 points. Mitt Romney has gone against Trump publicly. He voted against Trump for impeachment, and Gary Johnson has endorsed Biden, and he had a huge percentage of the vote against Hillary Clinton in 2016. So yes, I do think Utah will be a likely state by a very small margin. I think it'll go to Trump by 12 points, despite all of the whole entire state's representation against Trump. They just simply are still not even polling close for Biden, like mildly competitive, but not really. Montana is a really good example of other races in the state and representation reflecting upon your presidential choice. Montana has a Senate race, a House race, and a governor race going on right now, all of which are really competitive. And before I would have said Montana going safe red, but now it's only polling like 8 points on average for Trump. The last two polls have been like 4 to 10. So Montana will go likely red. Kansas, Missouri both have a close governor race, I believe. No, Missouri is a close governor race, and that's reflecting, I guess. Also, Obama almost won it back in 2008. So definitely expect Missouri to go under 15%, but again, not really competitive, just a little bit. Kansas has a close Senate race, which is, again, reflecting upon the presidential race choices for civilians. It also is a blue trending state anyway. Hillary was leading in a poll there back in 2016, although Trump did end up taking the win here by as much as he did in Montana by 21 points. However, do you really think after everything that's happened in the past few, weeks, wouldn't even change the whole state by 6% against Trump? Like, that week alone is enough to do it. Mississippi, Louisiana, South Carolina, and Alaska, I'm all categorizing at the same time, because they all have been increasing in minority turnout and getting closer every election. This election especially will be closer because before, some black people or minorities in general lived in such a bad place in these states that they couldn't even get to the voting stations. Now they can just mail in their ballot across anywhere almost in that state. Like, all they could do is just if it's far, all they need to do is drive like an hour at most. And if people really care about voting, they would do that. People don't want to spend 8 hours biking to a station, or I feel like I'm portraying minorities badly. I'm not trying to do that. I just, in these states, minorities have not so good wealth rates. Mississippi, especially, but all these states are polling really close for Trump, or than they were in 2016. Way more competitive. Expect them to be more competitive in future elections. Maybe become some of the next toss-up states. South Carolina actually has a close Senate race as well among the minority opinion I just said, and there was the last presidential poll here had the last like 20 presidential polls here had Trump leading by under 10 points. Under 10 points in a state he won by almost 15 points. None of them have been over 10 points. Indiana I also have as likely, just because I think it's going to be closer, but then it's going to go right back to safe red. The only reason I went really red in 2016 was because they were voting for one of their past governors, Mike Pence, and Donald Trump. Trump was not a governor. I was talking about Mike Pence mostly. Also, the first primary I believe Trump won was in Indiana. They really liked him there, and that is possibly what led him to the presidential victory. Not Indiana itself in the Electoral College, but Indiana in the primary led him to the victory there, which led him to the presidential victory. Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, I'm categorizing at the same time because they all are basically the same right now. Pennsylvania, believe it or not, is actually the closest out of all of these, and Biden's from here. So I could see maybe a situation where Trump could take a tilt lead in Pennsylvania, but I doubt it. There's not much Democratic representation in Pennsylvania, so that might not bode well. But Republicans here are also endorsing Biden. Michigan, I don't have much to say about this until the Senate race. I just think it'll lean towards Biden, like it tilted towards Trump in 2016. Minnesota has been pulling up to 17 points and down to down to 3 points. But overall, I think it's going to go to Biden by around 7 points exactly, almost. In my model thingy, so Minnesota is probably the most likely to go blue out of all 4 of these states in the Rust Belt. Now, a little bit of a silver lining for Republicans. I have Iowa, Texas as lean for the Republicans. They both won it by around the same margin, around 9 points in 2016. And while Texas is a highly blue trending state and will definitely go blue in 2024, Iowa is not, and is just closer because it swung a lot in 2016, so it can swing a lot this time. They go for whatever they want. Ohio is the same situation. However, it's tilt red because it's a little bit closer. Even though they've gotten every election right in the past 60 years, I still think it'll get the election winner wrong. North Carolina, I heard, is where I've seen and saw proof of them rejecting 4 times as many black voters and minorities and overall than they are white voters. And while it's already only tilting towards Biden, this does not go well for him. I do think he will not carry the state of North Carolina. He doesn't even need North Carolina. He doesn't need any of the blank states left in here, except for like Maine and Nevada. All he needs to do is improve by 1% in each state, and he wins the election. 1% more than he did Hillary did in 2016 is what I mean. Sorry. Actually, someone's gonna be spamming about this in the comments. Georgia. Georgia, over the past 6 months, has just shown its potential in really going to the blue party by a lean or tilt margin. And I know more people are turning over 18 and already registered to vote here every single day, and really, overall, Georgia will be a safe blue state within your lifetime. Georgia will be a safe blue state. In 2024, it'll probably lean or likely, but right now, it is a lean blue state. Florida. Oh, no, not lean. Tilt blue state. Florida is a lean blue state, although Biden is doing bad among Hispanics here, and Nevada, I'll categorize at the same time. He is doing well among white voters, a lot better than Hillary Clinton was. White males, especially, which make up the majority of the population. That's my explanation for that. Arizona, I believe, will lean towards Biden, as not much data has been here. Well, I mean, a lot of the same pollsters have been polling Arizona over and over. It all just shows the same thing: Biden +3, Biden +4, Biden +7 sometimes. But Arizona, I believe, will go blue as it this time as it did in 2018. I do not think it has shifted towards the right since 2018 when it elected a Democratic senator. However, senators can be very different in voting among civilians than presidential races, especially for independents. I still think Arizona will go leaning blue. Alright, that's a lot of talking. We're almost done with the presidential race. Maine at large, I believe, will go likely towards Biden. I don't think I need to explain that, and I don't really want to talk about the districts, but I'm just going what the polling says because that's the only data we really get from there. Candidates don't really poll there. They're both swing state or swing districts, so it's really just going to be the same thing. And same thing with New Hampshire. So I do think Biden and Harris will take the winning lead in the Electoral College and the popular vote. They will have 336 electoral votes if the election were held today. Ohio and North Carolina are really close, and they could shift towards the Democrats soon. Ohio was, but then a lot of polls came out by SurveyMonkey and other pollsters today in the past few days, having it towards red. I almost had it going blue this time, but then I saw a lot of the polls and approval, and I know it went to Trump by 8 points. It really doesn't make sense that it would go blue, however it could. North Carolina, I know they're rejecting a lot of minorities. However, it could go blue because of the non-minorities that Biden is doing very well amongst. Almost a tie, actually, among Trump and Biden. However, that's not how I think it will go. I think it'll go 336 to 202. Now, let's quickly do my Senate prediction. Sorry about that. Okay. Let's go over the safe states. Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Delaware, Oregon, Virginia, New Hampshire, and Illinois are all safe blue states for the Democratic Party this upcoming election. Virginia was already went to whoever went for re-election in 2014 by around 12, 13 points, and now they're winning by 22 in the polls. So again, there's not much data I can memorize by approval, but I know he is approved of here, and it will definitely go safe blue. Minnesota, I believe, will go to Tina Smith, I think, or Klobuchar, I believe Tina Smith, by around 14 points, really close to safe, but not quite. I do think overall it's a red trending state. However, it might be different for the presidential election, as I have it likely blue in there as well. And also, this is a state that generally elects the same party at once on election nights. Michigan, I believe, will be lean blue as Gary Peters' race is narrowing up towards his Republican opponent. However, not really. He was up by safe. Now he's up by likely. Now he's up by lean. I gotta really hurry up and do this because I'm running out of time. Iowa, I believe, will go blue. That's how it's polling. That's how approval shows. That's what everything shows here. Montana and Kansas are lean red states. They're toss-up, but they're traditionally Republican states and are already leading for the Republican nominee in the Senate there. Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, and West Virginia, I believe, will go to... Actually, not Kentucky, but Kentucky will be a little bit closer because of the pretty good Amy Barrett nominee and Mitch McConnell being unapproved of here, especially after this Ruth Bader Ginsburg incident. However, some Republicans like him more now, some like him less, because he is trying to make moves for their party. However, it is disrespectful to immediately talk about replacing somebody after they die that is beloved and important to millions and millions of Americans and the world in general. All right, Alabama, I believe we'll go to Doug Jones by around... Oh, not Doug Jones, Tommy Tuberville by around 12 to 14 points. Very borderline safe, just like Kentucky, but not quite. It does have a Democratic incumbent, Doug Jones, but he only won because he was running against a child molester. Roy Moore, I believe. Mississippi, Louisiana, and Alaska, I all had as not safe because of minority turnout. I believe the same thing will occur here. South Carolina, I really have it a lot closer than I had on the electoral map. That's just because. Alright, I'm almost done. Texas, likely they prefer Republican senators as of now. I'm sure they will vote for a Republican senator next time they have a Senate race. Georgia, despite it being going blue in the race for the president, I do think it'll go lean and tilt red. Lean for the special election, tilt for the general. These states are likely, not much to say about it. Polling demographics, approval, everything just show that. Again, I'm trying to speed through this. North Carolina is lean, mainly because he's outperforming Joe Biden by up to 5 to 8% in almost every poll. At least since September. I don't know about this month, but I don't think it's narrowed up that much. I think it has a little bit. Maine is lean instead of likely as it was in the presidential race, but that's because it's against a Republican incumbent. So in the end, I do think it'll go. I think the Democrats will take over the majority for the first time since 2014. I do think the Democrats will take the majority in the Senate, making Chuck Schumer, I believe, the Senate Majority Leader instead of Mitch McConnell. So yes, and I'm sure if they take the Senate, they're going to impeach and remove Trump next year. So even if Trump wins, he probably does not have that good a chance at all of keeping his job. Because I've heard that people voting against Trump's Supreme Court nominee also did not like Trump in the beginning, to begin with, and now after he has hurt their career a lot in polling, especially since a lot of them are running right now, I do think that in an impeachment vote, it'll at least be Utah. Mitt Romney would definitely not vote for Trump after this. He already voted against him before, so it'd be like 53-47, around that. All right, thank you guys for watching so much. I'll see you guys next time, probably with